Today's book is Never Play Music Right Next to the Zoo. This was written by John Lithgow and illustrated by Leeza Hernandez. Never play music right next to the zoo. Look at that cute little elephant sleeping with a little bird on its back. I went to a concert when I was a lad, no older than many of you. I sat with my sister, my mother, and dad at a band shell right next to the zoo. Well, it's a free concert. You can see some of the animals. That snake is not supposed to be on that lamppost, is he? The soft summer air was so balmy and sweet, and the program was running so long, that I found myself falling asleep in my seat, despite all the music and song. Do you think he's snoring? You can see there is the conductor, and then you've got different instruments. We have got the timpani drums in the background. She's playing the triangle. We've got the bassoon. Who's this? This is a raccoon hiding behind her. All at once the conductor erupted with rage. Rage is when you're so angry. A band of wild animals was storming the stage. All of these wild animals on the stage. I'm sure that made it hard to play their instruments. Oh, children, remember, whatever you may do, never play music right next to the zoo. They'll burst from their cages, each beast and each bird, desperate to play all the music they've heard. Do you think they want to play music? They knocked his juice box out of his hand. The lions and the elephants, the bears and the raccoons will steal away the trumpets, the flutes, and the bassoons. She's using her music stand and her flute to try and hold that bear off. Oh no, the elephant's stealing the bassoon. And that lion, what is he doing? It looks like he's trying to get the trumpet. Replace the musicians and chase them away. Then they'll sit in the band shell and play. I'm worried he's about to get eaten. The elephant sitting on that woman, that would not be very comfortable. The monkeys played fiddle, the bison played bass, the percussions were manned by the camel. The yak played the sax until red in the face, a surprisingly musical mammal. So there's that camel playing those percussion instruments. We've got this monkey trying to fiddle. Over here, oh my goodness, look at that yak on the sax. And it's got a raccoon coming out of it. And oh, that bison is playing the bass. The bonobo played oboe. The ferret the flute. The jackal attacked the bassoon. The hippo had chosen the tuba to toot by the light of the silvery moon. You can tell it's nighttime since the moon is out. Siberian tigers, Mongolian goats, a superabundance of bestial notes. Bestial means beast. And there's a lot of them, aren't there? As the animal orchestra filled up the air with chaos, confusion, and clatter, the audience calmly continued to stare as if nothing at all was the matter. If you saw this on stage, would you just stare? Would you pretend like nothing was happening? You can see the silhouette of all of the animals, and you can see some of the audience members. I trembled with terror, suppressing a scream, while my parents just sat there enraptured. Oh, how I wished it was only a dream, and those creatures all safely recaptured. I'm sure that's not safe for the animals or the people. They're sitting on a picnic blanket. But since by the minute I'd grown less afraid, I decided to sit back and watch while they played. Since he realized that nobody else was scared, he thought that he was safe and could relax some. Even with a snake around his neck. Oh, and here they are, just taking in the sights of those animals on stage. They finished and each put his instrument down, then bowed and descended the stage. Each shed his tuxedo or evening gown and hurried back home to his cage. When did they start wearing those clothes? The goats are eating the flowers that they're being given. I'm sure everybody's applauding and saying, "Encore! Again, again!" Then each reminisced, so grateful and glad, so full of contentment and pride. My mother, meanwhile, strolled away with my dad, but my sister remained by my side. Reminisce is when you remember things, you think back on them. She tugged on my sweater and spoke in my ear. "You'd better wake up or we're leaving you here." Oh my goodness, he was dreaming. Oh, children, remember, whatever you may do, never play music right next to the zoo. They'll burst from their cages, each beast and each bird, desperate to play all the music they've heard. He's looking at himself, wondering where the snake went that was on him, and the raccoons. Oh, but look back. They're looking behind them, and they see the musicians. They look pretty normal, right? That looks like an old lady and a man in a tuxedo. No, never play music right next to the zoo, and pay strict attention to rule number 2. Bear it in mind for the rest of your days. What's rule number 2? Don't fall asleep when an orchestra plays. The end. Thank you for sharing this book with me.